All right, so we are streaming on live too. We're streaming live on YouTube or some other streaming service. And I'd like to call the June 2nd, 2026 meeting of the Historical Commission and Historical Architectural Review Board to order at 7:18. In attendance are Sally Gallagher, Ann Latimer, Sarah Beth Kohat, Lou Mandich, Beth Galich, and myself, Paul Legassi. We have no members of the public in person or online, so we will move on to the approval of the minutes from the prior meeting, which is our April combined meeting. I would like to first inquire if anyone has any suggestions for changes or revisions to the minutes.
Just one, I'll show you right here.
Oh, yes. Thank you. So, thank you, Lou.
Was that in section D?
Yes.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, everyone, that's it. Got caught. Considering, let's see, could provide support for is an informational sign, I think for there. Okay. So let's fix that. Drop the. Any other suggestions for corrections?
No.
Okay, hearing none, I'd like to entertain a motion for approval of the minutes as amended.
I so move.
Do I have a second? All right, I have a motion from Lou with a second from Beth for the approving the amended minutes. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nan?
I wasn't there. Can I vote?
Sure, why not? I don't,
Aye.
it's up to you. I mean, if they look good to you, that's fine. Yeah, you're right. You weren't there, but that's okay. All right. All right, moving on to old business. There is no report concerning updating historic resource surveys and PHMC data. Now, there is a little to talk about the Churchill African Church Cemetery cleanup. I'm just going to review for the moment where we were last time. So since there's been a little additional cleanup of stumps and some shrubbery since the last meeting, there's also been weeding of garlic mustard, which is a biennial invasive. And I just went out there tonight and had 3 bulbs left over from some flowers that I brought my dad and put them by a couple of the graves in the cemetery. These are daffodils, so they're not reasonably, they're reasonably non-invasive. And they will tolerate the shade there. It still looks pretty good and open, but the silt grass is getting thick. Other than that, it doesn't look too bad, but we have plenty of young shrubs starting, as there always are. And so just a reminder that this is going to be an ongoing concern. Nan, do you have anything you want to say? Sally, have you been out there recently?
I have not. No.
Okay.
I have not. I've seen enough of it. I have enough trouble here. Get the truth.
I hear you, Dan.
Yeah. I'm working on the silk grass here. When I come up with a solution, except for I can't take my lawnmower over there. Anyways,
No.
I'll let you know. I've been mowing. It actually works pretty well.
Yeah, the solution in the neighborhood in the Poconos where we have a place is there they recommend to get it, weed whack it right before it starts to go to seed. So after the flower heads are showing, but before anything's been set. And that's a very good way of keeping it under control. And because it's an annual, once you do that for a few years, eventually you get rid of the built-in seed reservoir in the soil. The stiltgrass is mainly concentrated on the the areas where you first walk up, which have been more open and less had less tree and shrub cover. So it's not surprising it's there. But it did make me a little more conscious of the possibility of ticks when I was walking through stiltgrass that was a foot high. So
Yeah.
I think
Lots of
that,
to give it some thought, if you kill the silk grass, something else is going to move in there.
yeah,
It could be worse.
it could be worse. On the other hand, there are plenty of reasonably well-established native ferns, and we might be able to establish, move them around a little bit, spread them out, and they could at least hold the soil in place. And they're a lot more attractive as far as I'm concerned than stiltgrass. The problem with stiltgrass is it's going to smother other things like Jack in the Pulpit and native, there are some other native plants up there. And I'd like to get some bloodroot, which is native and which spreads slowly but steadily and forms a nice mat. And I've been investigating possible other lower growing but spreading sort of ground covers that are not imports and invasive. There are some options that are native and are really invasive, such as certain species of goldenrod. But I think that would be going from the frying pan to the fire, since they'll be much taller than what we currently got, even with the stiltgrass. But yeah, but I'm thinking that if I do any more work out there, one of the things I want to do is cut down the stiltgrass to reduce the tick issue while working out there. It'll come back, but it might hold things down.
Hey,
I don't-
Paul, any idea how, sorry, that's my dog. Any idea how they handle it like at Bucktoe Cemetery?
No, I really don't know. I don't even have any good idea of what the conditions at Bucktoe are.
No, I don't.
But I could get in touch with Crystal Crampton and ask her if stiltgrass has been a problem and what they've done.
Yeah.
And if she has a suggestion for an alternative?
Yeah, that's possible. Although they may be in a situation where they can grow grass.
Oh,
You know,
right.
if you have if they have more sun, if they have a flatter surface where you can maintain grass. So, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, if we had level ground and fewer shrubs,
Yeah.
we could grow grass and maintain
Sure,
it,
sure.
but we're definitely not there yet. Any other comments or suggestions?
No.
Okay. So The Mason-Dixon Art Corner Coordinating Committee continues to move ahead. At this point, I've actually met with all the people I wanted to meet with. So I've met with historical commissions from New Garden, London, Britain, and the Oxford Region Planning Committee's Historical Preservation Subcommittee, since they do not really have a historical commission in Elk. Mary Gruber is their representative to the Oxford Region Subcommittee. And I've also, last night, I finished up talking to all the supervisors when I spoke to the supervisors at Elk. And I've gotten confirmation of participating from everybody but Elk. Elk did not want to make a decision last night, but they were receptive. So I'm hopeful. And at some point, probably not till September, we will start quarterly meetings and it will be basically just to sort of coordinate between the 4 historical commissions, share information, especially when one commission may be undertaking a project where another historical commission has a lot of knowledge dealing with that kind of project. And I expect it to be fairly relaxed and straightforward, but we will have public meetings and we will keep at least brief minutes so that what we do is on the record. It's somewhere between formal and informal. But that's how that stands. Sarah Beth, since you're here tonight, do you have any information on the 896 road work that you could share?
The only thing I know is that, it had been scheduled to start this spring, and that again has been pushed, obviously, I think to the end of the year. Um, so we'll see if that holds or if it gets pushed again.
Okay, sounds good. Out of curiosity, have you reached a settlement with PennDOT?
No, I don't think we're going to reach a settlement until after the project's done and we see how it affects the property.
Okay. I was curious if you might be holding things up, but under those circumstances, you wouldn't be.
No,
Um,
there's money in an escrow account, so we're not the holdup.
Okay. All right. So I guess at some point it will start, maybe in another year or so.
That's fine with me.
Yeah. Well, if you use 896, having it disrupted for potentially 2 years is not something I look forward to.
Right.
There's no update concerning the Historical Commission website at the moment. Uh, However, yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about things I want to do, but that brings to mind something else I just want to mention. There is a website out there called, let me see if I can call it up. And so I get the name correct because I've had trouble searching for it at times. So bear with me a sec while I try and see if I can get there. It should be white clay. Let's try this first. Okay. One. Yes. Okay. So the web page that is entitled White Clay History, one word, .info, INFO. And that's the URL. And this contains a lot of information on the Arc Boundary, the Mason-Dixon line, the Welsh Baptist Historic District, the White Clay Watershed, and it also includes some historic maps and brochures that some of which we've actually made. So it's a nice local history website that's independent of any township and was set up by Dave Hawks to share, Dave Hawk, excuse me, to share historical information. So if you're ever looking for something on White Clay Creek, for example, there's a lot
What's it
of,
called again?
it's White Clay History .info.
And-
I'll try and remember to send that out.
Okay,
That's going to be easier
yeah.
than everyone else trying to remember what it is. But it's certainly worth taking a look at. And there's nothing to report on the constructing more detailed township history. Multi-municipal identification of historic resources in the Big Elk Creek State Park didn't until last night have anything to report, but I attended a meeting of the White Clay Creek, Friends of the White Clay Creek Preserve, and it's their expectation that they are likely to become effectively the Friends of the Big Elk Creek State Park, or whatever it eventually gets renamed to. So I just mentioned in passing that I had prepared this historic resource survey and that I could pass along to them. And I think they're very interested in getting involved in doing the sort of thing that they do, trail work and that stuff. And also historical signage in White Clay Creek Preserve. Related to that is I am working with the Friends on developing wayside signage for the tri-state marker. And we've worked up a draft and it's now being circulated in front of a circular firing squad to see what the problems are. Excuse me. Hey, Chuck. Yeah, why don't you just sign on anyway, then, it will, yeah. Okay, you're at the township website? Okay, so, you look at the historical commission, meetings, there should be a listing of the meetings. Let me see if I can look at the same thing you're looking at. So if you're on the home page and it says a meetings calendar. I'm sorry? No. It's just on the home page. If you click on the Franklin Township. Okay, so do you see the calendar? Okay, under that, there's a historical commission meeting link. Yeah, click that. And if you scroll down, you see there's a join Zoom meeting, and above that, there's a monthly thing that will actually add it to your calendar. Okay? All right, great. Excuse me for dropping out. Chuck will be joining us, and I was just telling him where the link was online. So anyway, yeah, so we're working on a Tri-State Marker Wayside. This was originally begun as a project that was going to be done by the Friends. Sarah Sato, who's the education coordinator for White Clay Creek State Park, was hopeful that something could be worked up for a more traditional wayside rather than informal one. But the Friends subsequently decided they wanted to at least move ahead with a temporary informal wayside because DCNR is likely to be moving more slowly. So that's where that stands. Excuse me while I check in. I lost it. All right. Let me take that off the screen, so that's probably going to. Not sure what's up. Okay, so I need to back up because I realized I skipped over America 250. There he is again.
Yep, there he is. There he is.
Yeah, well, I'll wait on Chuck. Okay, Chuck has joined us. All right, so Chuck, just quickly to, what we've gone over is there's been some minor progress at the Churchill African Cemetery. And we're going to look into stiltgrass control because it's really taking off. And the Mason-Dixon Art Corner Coordinating Committee is progressing. And I've spoken to all the supervisors and historical commissions, and they're basically going to, I'm just waiting on Elk, the last township I spoke to last night, to sign off on it. They didn't make a decision last night, but they appear to be interested, which is good. And there's nothing, no information on the 896 roadwork, according to Sarah Beth. And I'm working on some help project to develop a wayside for the Tri-State Marker in the White Clay Creek Preserve, and it looks like the Friends of the White Clay Creek Preserve will become the Friends group for Big Owl Creek State Park whenever that sorts itself out. They're not currently, but things seem to point to that. And so we may work with them on historic resources there when the time comes. So now the next topic is the America 250 anniversary. I've been working with Nancy Widows on that, and we have letters out to sponsors and to possible vendors, as well as representatives from various nonprofits and food vendors. And responses are trickling in, and we're hoping to hear from as many as possible by July 15th, at which point we will, if we have room, we'll send out a second mailing to additional vendors to invite them. But we're starting with people who've participated last time. And we are, not too much has changed since last time. We are planning on having a reading of the Declaration of Independence, followed by a call to the community there to sign copies of the Declaration of Independence if they wish. We'll have a couple tables and enough copies. We will have some fun events for kids, but no big inflatable sort of bouncy castle kind of stuff, which we've had in the past. And we'll have a fire muster and a couple other events, as well as a Ben Franklin impersonator who will act as master of ceremonies. And we'll also have the dedication of a new veterans memorial. The boulder on which it will be, to which it will be attached, is in place. Those of you who get emails from the townships from the township on various events and follow the township on Facebook will already know that. So it's coming together rather nicely. Feels a little hectic at times, but we will need volunteers for a historical commission table. So I'd like anybody who would be interested to think about that. I will probably not be able to sit at the table for an extended period of time because I may be involved in making sure that certain events go off as planned because of my role as co-chair. The materials that I expect we would have would be no different than last time. Some maps showing the location of modern roads on historical maps so that people can sort of figure out where they may have lived, and various brochures on local history topics, such as the Mason-Dixon line, the Delaware Arc, Ben Franklin's relation to Franklin Township, a history of Franklin Township, and we also now actually have a brochure that I did in conjunction with London Britain on London Britain's Welsh Baptist Historic District. So we'll have a lot of sort of local historic literature. All of these are basically just bifold brochures with some illustrations. So it shouldn't be a particularly difficult thing to manage. I know Sally and Nan have been there before for part of the time. And if anyone else feels like they'd like to be there, let me know. Sarah Beth, I'm sorry, you won't be there. I was hoping to have you there as an author.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. You win some, you lose some. We will have a couple authors, including Jack Hill, who's written on local railroads, and Tim Barnikoff, who has a book out on the history of the White Clay Creek Park and Preserve. So it's basically the history of the lands that now form the White Clay Creek Park and Preserve, with chapters on the Lenape and on mills, on early settlers, on the boundary markers that are in the park, and on the dam controversy that led to the formation of the park and the subsequent growth of the park and preserve. So, and the growth has been more on the parks part than on the preserves part.
How long are the shifts for that? Depends on how many people.
Depending on how many volunteers we get.
Are we looking for other volunteers outside of us?
If somebody who's outside of us that you know would like to there are two levels of volunteers. There are going to be volunteers for various activities.
Mhm.
So if somebody wants to do something that's not historical commission related, that's fine. But in terms of the history, yeah, somebody else could be there besides,
We could give them the information in advance and they could.
if they were
do it.
comfortable
Yeah.
doing that, yes.
Okay. All
But
right.
but there are also going to be plenty of volunteer opportunities for various things. And in the end, we will have to pick up the trash too.
Right, right. Yeah.
But-
Which park is this?
This is Crossan. This is the township park.
That's where we were last year. No?
No, that was London Bridge last year.
Okay.
Yeah, Crossan is,
I'm sorry, I get them mixed up.
yeah,
Parsons Road?
Parsons Road. Thank you.
Oh, okay, then I know which one that is,
Right.
obviously. Okay, good.
And at some point, we'll want to talk to you about how to get the cars into position, what looks good to you,
Okay.
what's going to work. We have no rain date because it's just impossible to manage all the vendors for this. So if we have bad weather on September 12th, we will unfortunately be canceled. But yeah, and also Lou will be there with old cars, and it sounds like the John Lawrences may be participating.
And depending on how many others you want, we can put the word out.
Yeah, I don't know. We can talk. We should talk further about that. Because, I've been sort of focused on just trying to make contact with people, and then you start to get into the nitty-gritty details. And Nancy's been looking at attending other festivities. She was at East and West Goshen's on the weekend, which was quite large. But they have like 8 times our population, and between the two of them, a more significant tax base up there off of 202. So it's not surprising. But I think we're going to have a nice family-oriented event, and Nancy seemed to like the Ben Franklin she's been talking to rather than the Ben Franklin they had in the Goshens. So that's a good thing, I think. And we've received some very generous donations. There was $3,500 donation from the local American 250 funding that goes through, I think, the Chester County Community Foundation. And there's, I believe there's been some funding also received from PICO, I'm thinking. Yeah, so fundraising has gone initially very well. And so with a little luck, it will involve little to no expenditure on the part of the township, which would be nice. So finally, the last item on which I have information concerns the talk by David McCain on his ancestor, Thomas McCain, that occurred on May 16th in New London. And it was our turn to pick up his fee, which was no different than anyone else's. He got this standard honorarium, and I was glad he came, but I was sort of interested because I think I've mentioned before, he's worked at the State Department, was an ambassador to Luxembourg at one point. But he has another book on the history of celebrations of the 50-year anniversaries of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And I picked up a copy. I've just started reading it. I'll let you know how good it is when I'm done. I hope to be writing him a short note saying I enjoyed his book. It does seem to be well written. He was informative, talked a little bit about his own personal history with the subject of his ancestor, and then his ancestor's life. We had a good crowd. I would say we had about 50 people. which for a May night, especially one where the clouds decided to open up, was a pretty good turnout. And May is usually our least attended evening of the year.
Yeah, I forgot about it till it was about an hour over, so.
Yeah, yeah, and it's you know, by the time it gets to be May, it's light in the evening. If the weather is good, there's stuff to do, places to go. So it is harder to get people to come out. But he had an enjoyable time, and you know, people had comments. In fact, there were a fair number of people who came down from Chatham, which is where his dad had a tavern. So we actually drew from a wider area than I thought we would. In September, on the 15th, at 7 p.m., also in New London, there will be a talk by Bruce Mauday, who it's entitled Common Soldier, Uncommon Soldier. It's actually a talk he's been giving throughout the county, which I've seen elsewhere under a slightly different title. But I'm hoping that we'll get a good turnout for that. And September is usually a good month for a turnout.
I don't know if this comes under talks and training, but the Little West Grove Museum that the guy has that's open on Sundays, top of the hill, Scott Steven. Well, he's going to be hosting a bunch of old car guys on Saturday at 10. So if anybody wants to come, it'll be open Saturday at 10.
That's sort of unusual.
This Saturday.
Yeah, because his museum's usually open only the first Sunday.
Yeah, well, he's going to open for the old car guys on Saturday. The old guys that have old cars or whatever.
Yeah, so the old car guy?
Yeah,
Or are they old car guys?
They're old
Or are they
car-
both?
they're both.
Yeah. So, sounds good. And Scott's a nice guy.
Mhm.
I'm trying to get him to have a display for his museum at our celebration in September. But he can be tough to get a response out of sometimes. Dave Porter, who's got a museum in his house in Elkton that's focused on Chester County, will be there.
He posts a lot of interesting stuff.
Yeah, he does.
I get stuck on Facebook reading his stuff.
Yeah, and he's also been very involved in work that they've been doing. I guess he volunteers at the Red Rose Inn, which is also a historical museum now. And he has been working with the New London Presbyterian Church to help develop their museum and their celebration, because this is their 300th year as a congregation.
So the Red Rose Inn is a museum now.
It's open. I
Yeah, you
forget when
shouldn't.
it's open.
No, the other one.
Right. The Red Rose Inn is a museum? That's a question.
Yeah, it is. It's been for a while.
Okay.
They stripped off the parts they regarded as accretions, which, as I believe Chuck has commented, weren't necessarily accretions. But they've have a lot of material inside that comes from various collections or has been donated. Like Dave has actually either loaned or donated some materials that he had in his collection.
And there's
the Red Rose Inn.
Sunset Park memorabilia there, apparently.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool too.
yeah.
But when is it open? Do we know?
We could Google it, I
You
guess.
can, I think you can find
Yeah,
out
okay.
online.
I'll do that.
It was also the subject of when we did a Little Museums talk. It was in the handout that we had for that, but I don't have ready access to that at the moment.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, but if you have troubles, shoot me an email because I do have that information. Okay. Is there anything else anyone would like to add, raise, or et cetera?
No.
Okay. Hearing no suggestions for new business and having no public, I'll adjourn the meeting at 7:55. I got it right this time. Last time it took a little while to get the correct time. So everyone have a nice weekend.
You too.
And it's going to be a little warmer, but it's been rather sort of nice and New Englandy feeling, unless you like it really hot, in which case it's been disappointing.
Supposed to rain on Sunday.
Yeah, well. All righty. You all take care.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Right.
Right.